Welcome everybody back to the Bald Guy and the Fat Boy podcast. I'm the Bald Guy, joined with my buddy the Fat Boy.
Roll Tide.
What's going on, Fat Boy?
Another day, another dollar.
Yeah, you look like you are ready to get after this podcast today. I know I am. It was a good weekend, some big games, some good outcomes. Uh, I was I was trying to enjoy my weekend. Me and another buddy, we like to go off and go on to some public hunting land and go do a little bow hunting and just set up and see if we can find anything. And we went over to East Texas this week, and I was sitting in the deer stand, hunting, waiting for everything to go, just trying to be patient, enjoying myself being out in nature, and my phone goes off, and I'll silence it and it goes off again. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? So I get a call from the Fat Boy while I'm sitting in the deer stand. First of all, one of them was at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll give you that. It's okay. Not a lot of action going on there. I don't know how much you hunt, Fat Boy, but like
Not
really
very
early in the
much.
morning, really late in the evenings, around sunrise and sunset. It's kind of like the peak times here. Okay. So he calls me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, may even FaceTime me. I think he FaceTimed me to where he could see I was in a deer stand. We talked for a little bit. And I said, okay, I'm hunting. He was doing his thing and I was sitting there hunting. And I said, okay, I'll talk to you later. And right at dusk, like optimum time when everything should be coming out, guess what happens? Ring a ding ding. He's calling me right there. I had my phone on silent, but it's sitting there vibrating. And I'm like, who calls somebody that they know is in a deer stand right at like the best hunting time of the day? I mean,
How
you
do
got
I
to
know?
pay for yourself on that or what?
No, how did I know you were? I mean, personally, I'm not staying out in the woods that long. So that's your problem. If you don't want calls, turn your phone off.
I had it on silent. I just couldn't
That's
believe after you had seen me in there, you knew what I was doing. And you're like, hey, it's about that time. I bet deer if it's to walk out right now. Let me see if I can screw that up for him.
I'll tell you the same thing. My mother. That sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
I'll tell you what. So anyway,
Uh,
tell everybody what
well,
you were so excited about.
let's not bury the lead. We can call you GQ ball tonight.
Why is
With
that? Oh,
Yeah, you GQ with your dress up there, and of course your cue ball head.
I mean,
So
I mean,
yeah.
one of us got to be a little classy up in this podcast. I mean,
Well, that's definitely your department. That ain't mine.
I know
Uh,
it's gonna fall
I,
all on
I,
me. I mean,
you go classy. I'll go trash.
okay, all right, there you go. That's what we should have
Yeah,
called the podcast.
yeah, classy and trashy. Ain't no doubt about that. Uh,
But so, what were you
I,
doing? What were you doing Saturday? You were so excited about?
I went to a college football game basically in my backyard. The NJCAA football with the Navarre Bulldogs and the Trinity Valley Cardinals played a football game out here in Athens, Texas, and I wanted to do kind of a live remote deal from there because we got this wrestling field trip coming up, and I wanted to kind of give our listeners a kind of a preview of what we're going to kind of do with the wrestling thing. When it was dusk, I had already been through the football game. I wanted you to upload my content. That's your department. If you don't want me to call you when I get stuff to upload, turn your phone off.
Yeah, and I said, why didn't you just text me? Why didn't you just text me to see what was going on if you needed anything?
Because I was driving, sir. I called you in the car driving. You're not supposed to text and drive, but nobody ever says nothing about calling and driving, so I did that.
Well, we appreciate your attempt to keep the roads safer.
You're welcome for that. So the game was competitive. It was 7-3 at halftime. 7 Trinity Valley, 3 Bulldogs. Excuse me. And then the final score was not competitive. Trinity Valley in the second half put the whoop on them. They beat the Navarre Bulldogs 41-24 was the final. I went over there with a buddy of mine. So had a wonderful time. My wife is an alumnus of Navarra, so that was kind of one of the reasons I made a showing. And but it was just kind of an example of how we're going to do things like you're hunting and the wrestling we're going to go to in that college football game, of kind of showing what we do in our. We're about sports on our podcast, but we're also about sporting things in just our regular walk of life. I mean, you go hunting, I go football games. We're going to wrestling together. Just stuff like that is what I want the listener to know what we're doing.
Well, I hope they pay attention, but I think a bunch of them may or may not care what we do.
Well, then what? I mean, I told you it was 2 weeks ago. You told me vehemently you don't want to be famous. So I don't know if that's reverse psychology, but I'm not doing reverse psychology. I want to be famous. I want people to like me. I don't got nobody else around here that likes me, so I want to try to get people out there to like me.
You want people to know you, or do you want people to like you?
Both. They can dislike me too. They can know me, dislike me, or they can know me and like me.
They can. 100% they can. Yeah.
Yes, I mean I'm okay with being disliked, but I mean there's got to be a few out there like me. I think.
Hey,
So
if you want to see a bunch of people dislike you, put out some cowboy content and just wait for all the cowboy haters to swirl around.
well, I right now I'm putting out cowboy content that the haters are gonna like. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. All right.
So that was our weekends. Let's move on with this week's show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got a good topic to start off with. You're wearing the hat over there. The Texas Rangers are still undefeated in the postseason. They are 2-0 in the ALCS, and man, as long as this train keeps rolling, I think we got a chance to go all the way.
Unbelievable, man. Like I called you after they won the second game, and I asked you, did you legitimately have running 2 games against them in Houston 2-0 on your bingo card? Because I didn't. I didn't have that on my bingo card. I wanted it. Don't get me wrong. That's what I wanted. But do I think we're gonna go to Houston and go? What we three? No, two. No. How many games have we went undefeated so far in the playoffs? 5, 6. Is that 7?
Yeah, that's 7. That's 7 games.
That's 7. That's 7 undefeated in a row. We come off flatter than a pancake out of Seattle.
I've been telling you, it's all about streaks with this team.
I mean, come off flatter than a pancake out of Seattle, and now we're undefeated, 7-0 in the playoffs. And I'm not jinxing it. I'm not knocking on. I mean, I'm knocking on wood. I got my fingers crossed. I got my rabbit's foot. I got my 4-leaf clover. I got it all
I'm
over here.
You, with all that.
Hey, don't tell me superstition ain't a thing. Because
superstition is a thing. I'm just telling you that.
Yeah, but because I can hearken, I can say 2 words to you, and your body will quiver.
You know what that? I don't think you have the power to do that. So
you don't think I can? You don't think I can do that?
No,
Nelson Cruz.
No. See, you know.
Well, every time I hear that name, it makes my body quiver, sir. Sorry.
Hey, this ain't that team. This is a different team.
I'm just saying that's Rangers history. We're a sports podcast, and those things like that matter.
We're riding a hot streak, and them boys may go undefeated all the way to the world champs.
Like I said, I got all my stuff. Got my horseshoe over here. I got it all.
The thing is, if you keep sweeping people, you get to rest and just start the next series with your best pitchers. So it all going to work out. And their bullpen has been phenomenal this postseason.
From your mouth to God's ears, Charlotte.
I mean, it really has. So
as far as I'm concerned, God don't like Houston either. So
you and them cheaters. You and them cheaters.
Yeah. And my old cheaters. Somebody told me the other day, they only cheated that one World Series. Listen to that statement.
So who was it the other day? Somebody's mom was a big Houston fan. Who was that?
Yeah, there's a radio show that comes on Friday nights over at East Texas, and one of the hosts of that radio show, it's Pigskin Bob, and he's got a mama that does the picks over there, and she's been a Houston fan since the '70s. Well, I got on the radio and told her why that wasn't a good idea. That went over like a ton of bricks.
Why are you picking on somebody's mama?
Well, because she's a Houston fan. I even said something. Even my wife said, "Don't say that. That's dumb." I said, "I'd rather see the Taliban win than Houston." See, classy over there, trashy over here.
Yeah, no, that's right. Picking on
So
people.
anyhow,
See, everybody thought that we're the ones that introduced the Fat Boy to the world, but really, you've been calling into this radio station over there in East Texas for a while now, kind of building
yeah,
up your entertainment chops.
right. Talking to them, and really, that's kind of one of the things that started this podcast. So we're just building on top of that. Well, so
So
now the Rangers play tomorrow, as we speak, and Scherzer goes on the mound for the third game. How you feeling?
that's something I don't think anybody thought we'd be saying this postseason, but I just hope the rust isn't there and he comes out blazing. Let's just put it that way.
Guns ablazing. I agree with you.
I tell you, I think they're doing great, but I've said from the absolute beginning of this run, once they lose a game, I want to see how they bounce back from that. Because it
Okay.
can be as hot as there is, and they can be as cold as there is too. So
Okay. Well, I agree with all that. So let's get off the Rangers and let's get on to our one of our favorite subject. Let's go to the Cowboys.
the Dallas
They play,
Cowboys,
they played a game last night. Did you watch that game?
I sure did. I sure did. It was pretty good. I mean, it's kind of must watch TV at this point.
Well, maybe your definition of pretty good, my definition of pretty good are a little different.
Well,
Uh,
hold on.
I
Back up.
heard
We played on Monday night. Did you see what that mental game that we played on San Francisco did to those boys? Did you see that
wow.
Sunday? I mean,
Yeah,
they are
that's the
oh,
there's
they
that
are so
there's
messed
that
up
hot
right
take
now.
again. You're right. That reverse psychology that the Cowboys put on San Francisco, boy, it worked like a charm. Because you're right, they went and laid an egg against the Cleveland Browns.
They lost to the Browns with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's no joke. They lost to the Browns with a
I
backup
know.
quarterback.
I
Yeah.
know. I tried to
So
tell
there
you.
you go. There you go. Once again, the old bald guys called it right out.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. But just what
But
playoff game when we get them,
what was
different story.
what was I down on the Cowboys last week about? What was I off of last week?
Oh, you're sworn off of Dak. He's the worst quarterback in the NFL. We should
Well,
have
I'm
three
still
teams
I'm
backups instead of
I'm
him.
I'm still there. I'm still sworn off Dak. Nothing's changed on that front.
How did this game not sway you at all on that?
Just playing, just playing. I mean, they're quite a bit. They're not nearly as good as San Francisco, even though San Francisco got beat by the Browns, which doesn't make no sense. But for this conversation, we're going to move on. But what I'm on this week is 2 yards a carry. What in the world is going on with our we go last week. We can't do nothing right. This week we can't run the ball when we need to run the ball. We're getting phantom muff punts. This team, between the coaching and everything else, is so Jekyll and Hyde. They make the Rangers look like choir boys.
Oh,
I mean, they won the game.
they won the game. That's the most important thing. Thank you.
That's all. That's all I got for them. It's just a smattering of applause because that and a couple dollars will get them a cup of coffee. So I mean, I wasn't impressed, There was there was very little redeeming that came out of that game for me as far as the Cowboy fan goes. So we're just going to move on down the road, and I think we're on a bye this week. Maybe they'll go to Cabo and like old Romo Witten did for them years ago and fix something.
Hold on. I want to hit on something before you just try to say, okay, well, we won. I'm not happy about it, but Dak sucks, and let's move on. I want to talk about the level of hate that Dak Prescott would have got if he would have threw the interception that Justin Herbert did. Nobody's burying him for that.
Yeah. You know the difference?
What? I don't know the difference. No.
I'll share with you the difference. Are you ready?
A lot of people think Herbert's a better quarterback.
Yeah, but let me share with you the difference.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Herbert plays for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Okay.
Dak Prescott plays for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. Did you see those stands in California? What did you notice about the stands in California?
There were some Cowboy fans there.
There were some Cowboy fans there.
Yeah.
It was dadgun near 60-40. 60-40 California to Dallas fans. Meaning there was 40% Dallas fans at that football game. So therefore, when you're a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, you're talking about Staubach. You're talking about Troy Aikman. You're talking, I mean, the last couple that they've been great in the stat book. Romo was the statistician. He was all stats all the time. Dak Prescott, he is great stats. And neither one of them could hit water if they fell out of a boat.
What are you talking about?
They don't win nothing. Staubach, champion. Aikman, champion. Those are quarterbacks of America's team.
You don't.
Romo,
you do not win stuff by yourself. It doesn't happen.
I can't help that, Charlie. This is a quarterback-driven league. The buck stops with the quarterback, and until I see something that proves in my mind that this quarterback has got his head out of his rear and changes, and it changes. Whenever that light goes off and it changes, I'll say the light went off and it changed.
No, you've already said he's got to win a Super Bowl. He's got to win the Super Bowl for it to change your mind.
He's been there too long. He's been there. He's been there 8 years, Charlie.
Okay.
Go look at Staubach's career. Go look at Aikman's career after 8 years, and you compare those quarterbacks. You can compare to Romo. You can compare to Dak. You go compare those 4 quarterbacks. One from one generation, another one from another generation, another one from another generation, and the one from this generation. And you do the comparison, and you tell me why I'm on here telling you that it all begins and ends with the quarterback.
No, it doesn't. Oh my goodness.
And that's all I got to say. I mean, you can tell me all the stuff you want to, but until I see that light bulb go off, I'm done. I'll root for my Cowboys, but they just if they just win it all, if they win it all the way out 10-7, and he shows me something, then I'll be happy. But until I see it, I'm gonna be right where I'm at.
At this point, you're such a hater. You just built it up in your mind. I'm done with him. They could win the Super Bowl, 54 to 3.
If he can win the Super Bowl, I'll reevaluate. But
no, you're going to say, "Oh, the defense won it. He didn't win nothing. He's still a horrible quarterback."
Well, okay. Well, let's get there. Let's get there and see.
Well, I mean, okay. So you're thinking about winning.
I will eat crow if I need to eat crow. But until I see a reason to eat crow, I don't think I'll be eating crow anytime soon.
All I'm trying to say is if Dak had threw that same interception, he would have been buried.
And all I'm trying to say is one of them plays for the Chargers, one of them plays for the Cowboys. There is no comparison to being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry.
Maybe not, but Herbert is like universally thought of as a top 5 to 10 quarterback.
And Dak is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. It has gravitas. I know people don't think I know big words, but I do.
Okay.
And it has clout. and those things go with that job, the good and the bad. And if unless we're left just like Romo, unless Dak can pull his head out of his rear and do some winning, he's going to get the good and mostly the bad.
And mostly the bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I
That's
mean, at
just the
least he
way.
said it. It doesn't have to make sense. It's just his turn. If the team ain't winning, he sucks.
That's right. Everything begins and ends with the quarterback, especially in Dallas.
Okay.
Let's move on.
But yeah, I mean, we beat that horse all we
Dead
could.
in the doornail.
I mean,
All right.
anyway, we'll
Next
see
thing
when
on,
it comes out.
on our run sheet here is my beloved Alabama played a football game and they won terribly ugly. They tried to give it away in the second half. We're still growing and learning, and Texas didn't play, so nothing bad to say about them. So we'll just move on.
No, that hurts you.
Oh, it hurts, but at least they won.
There you go.
At least they won. But they, I don't say that in the same vein. I say it way I said the Cowboys. At least they won.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay. I want to touch.
You're getting better. Go ahead. I was ready to move into our picks and just tell everybody how you're kind of getting a little better, getting a little momentum done. But
let me say one thing before we go to picks.
Okay.
We're the 21st. We're going in the same vein as the hunting thing and the going to the college football thing. We got this wrestling thing up in Addison. It's on October 21st in Addison. It starts at, I think, doors open at 6:00. So we're gonna go up there and we'll kind of do a live report up there and just see what's about and come back and talk to them about it on the podcast. And we got that coming up. So I just wanted to remind everybody about that.
I think we should see if we could get a poll of the wrestlers up there when we do it to see how many of them thinks Dak sucks.
Well,
I think that would be a great poll.
Well, most of the wrestlers up there ain't even from Texas, so they're going like.
You told me how California has all these Cowboy fans and it's worldwide, it's nationwide, it's different.
Okay, well, so, that's fine. We can do whatever kind of poll you want to.
Okay, what's what we're gonna see? There you go. We're gonna find out where Dak's support level is in the wrestling / entertainment business here.
I am on a hot streak on my picks.
Okay, the fact that you think barely above 500 and having to get a push to get there 2 weeks in a row is a hot streak should tell you about your picks.
Well, all I can tell you is if you were in my position, you would take the last 2 weeks over the first 3 weeks.
No, I'll guarantee you that because but I told you before, there was nowhere you could go from the first 3 weeks. You had to go up. You couldn't go down anymore.
So now I've gone up. Now I'm going to, and this next week I'm going to go up even more.
You said that last week and you just repeated a mediocre pick session here.
Well, we just have to keep on going.
You've gone 5-4-1. You've gone five correct, 4 incorrect, and 1 push 2 weeks in a row.
That's me, Mr. Consistency.
Yeah. At first it was none, and now you're up to 500. So do you return back to the mean here and start getting about 25%? Or are you going to jump up to like 75%?
Well, only time will tell.
Well, I tell you what, until you start doing better than barely over 500, I'm going to ride it out to where I'll just take the complete opposite of you.
Okay. Well, here we go.
Okay.
You call them out and I'll let it roll.
Okay. So in college, we're going to start off with your Alabama giving up 9 points at Tennessee.
I'm going to
take Tennessee. Take Tennessee. Come on.
I'm going to take Bama.
Okay. I thought you were going to take Tennessee on that one. I really thought you were going to go against your boys again. All right. So next up, we got Penn State at Ohio State. Ohio State's -4.
Ohio State.
You're taking Ohio State. Hey, you picked a home college team.
I did.
Awesome. I'll take Penn State. Okay. Washington State at Oregon. Oregon is minus 20.
Washington State.
Taking Washington State and the points.
Yep.
That is me right there. Okay. All right. TCU at K State. Kansas State is minus 6.5.
TCU.
TCU and the points. You do not like college home teams. Sorry.
I just go with my gut.
All right. So Utah at USC. USC minus 6.5.
After USC just got beat by Notre Dame. So it's at USC.
It is. It's only 6.5.
Yeah, I'll take USC.
Take USC in the point. Oh, see, there you go. You took another home team.
I did.
Giving me 6.5 points. All right. So now let's move to the NFL. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Saints -1. It's basically a pick 'em. What do you got?
Jags.
Taking the Jags. All right. So next up is the Browns that just destroyed, all the momentum that the 49ers had. They also hurt Debo and Christian
McCaffrey.
Browns -2 at the Colts.
Browns. Colts have got quarterback problems.
Yeah, they do. That's why I would have took the Browns on that one too. But you give me this, I'll take it. All right. So now we got the surprising Lions, tied for the best record in the NFL, by the way, at the Ravens. Ravens -3.
Ravens.
Taking the Ravens. You surprised me on that one. You've been riding with the Lions these past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pittsburgh Steelers at the Rams. Rams are -3.
Steelers.
You're taking the Steelers. Okay. And last but not least, the Dolphins' high-powered offense goes into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. The Eagles are -2 points.
Dolphins.
You're taking the Dolphins.
No Cowboys this week. They're on they're on their off week. Bama's got Tennessee coming up this week, which we talked about, and that's a rivalry game. But Tennessee's not very good, and Bama's not great. So
I mean, they're pretty. Tennessee's pretty good because they're only 9-point favorites. Alabama's only 9-point favorite.
Yeah, but I think we'll win the game. So we'll see. That's and then of course we got Rangers. We got the Rangers game 3 tomorrow night, Scherzer. So I'm looking forward to that.
There's a chance by the time we record again, the Rangers have swept the ALCS and we're into the World Series.
Like I told you earlier, from your mouth to God's ears, Charlie.
And then I got to try to figure out a way to buy tickets.
Yeah,
and that's
one of our mutual friends has got tickets to Game 4 in Arlington, Astros and Rangers.
Really?
Yeah. That's our old buddy Tim.
And then you bring it up like that. So the fact that you knew about it first, does that upset you that he's going to take me to the game? Is that okay?
No comment.
That's not.
You told me we're not supposed to cuss on here.
Okay, yeah, that's right. But anyway, okay, we'll wrap that up.
You keep poking that particular bear, you're going to get more than you bargained for.
That's enough for the podcast this evening. I think we're all doing good. So we're for the
Roll Tide
sweep. There you go. We'll wrap it up. Like, subscribe, leave comments down below. We'd love to hear from everybody, and we'll just see y'all next week. Like I said, hopefully after the Rangers sweep. and another Cowboy
Go Rangers.
enjoying their off season or their bye week. So hopefully we don't have to deal with no injuries or nothing this week. So